Chalo. So I welcome all of you to JS201 friends. Let me introduce JS201 codes first and then I'll introduce myself. ठीक है? तो देखो, we have played some sort of game or video game, right? In that we level up. Levels ऊपर जाते हैं ना? We level up in video game. So as we level up, complexity बढ़ती है या कम होता है? As we level up, does the complexity increase or does the complexity decrease? It increases, right? Also, the fun increases. If you are giving your 100%, the level of excitement, the level of fun increases, right? Almost a similar thing is going to happen in JS201 with all of you. Okay? So see, very important, huh? If you understand the purpose of the course, you'll be able to appreciate the curriculum, the assignments, the level of complexity, okay? And why we are doing the things the way we are doing. See, every programming language like JavaScript, Java, Python, anything, or any framework like or library like React, right? They have two parts. One is the happy and easy part. I'll stop my my video, okay, so that you can see the entire screen. So I'll stop my video. Dekho. So every programming language has two parts. One is happy and easy part, another is real and hard parts. Happy, easy part are the things that you see in most of the courses and most of the YouTube videos, right? So they are mostly useful for creating toy application, console log applications, right? They are easy to learn, they are fun to teach, and most of them are never asked in any real interviews. But every programming language, every framework has some real hard parts. They are used in the real industry, friends. They are very hard to teach and they require some effort from your side to learn. Technical interviews are full of these questions related to the hard parts, and your real job, your real career, you'll be doing that most of the times, right? So I just have one question for you just to make it a little bit interactive. It's very common sense, like why do you think the real hard parts are asked in the technical interviews and not the happy easy parts? Can you write some of the reasons why it's important for us, for companies, to ask real hard parts in their technical interview? Yeah, because very less number of people really understand the real hard parts, and they are the ones that are used in the real industry. You know? So it filters out. Like I used to do hiring. I was as a senior engineer for a company called Accelerant. For every opening, we used to get 700 to 800 applications. And as we gave them one real hard problem, 600 of them filtered out, right? Because they never ever learned the real hard parts. So would you like to learn some real thing from me in this course? Some real thing from me. I'm going to warn you upfront, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. I'll try to make it as fun as possible. ठीक है? ठीक है. Good. ठीक है. One thing, okay, let me introduce myself to you. So my name is Vivek Agarwal. I am in this IT industry for more than 10 years. I have worked with the biggest brands that you can think of. L'Oreal Finance, United Nations, Newell Brands, Alshaya Brands, Red Hat, whatnot. I've worked for products of almost all the biggest brands that you can imagine. I have led several projects. I have overseen several projects. And since last couple of years, I have been mostly in the hiring side and the training side. So my primary role for the last 2 years was to hire freshers and make sure that they are project ready. So in my past company, Accelerant, we used to work with very, very, very big brands. Okay. They had their own IT team. They had their own, our clients had their own vetting calls before or interview calls before hiring our engineers, right? So my work was to make sure that they are interview ready and they are project ready from the day one of their job. Okay. And so what I am teaching and the way I am training, it is both from the side of an engineer and a hiring manager. Okay. So you will see me referring to a lot of concepts and the way they are asked in interviews so that we are very well prepared. Okay. Okay, all of you want me to turn on my camera? Sure, I'll do that. Happy now? All of you happy now? Okay, so yeah, that was my short introduction. And anything else you want to know from me about me before we proceed with today's class? I am from Pune originally. So I stay in Pune. I stay in a campus of Mahindra. So it's a beautiful hilltop. And right now I'm in Gujarat. My mom went through a small surgery. And so I'm here to, help her ease her out. Yeah, so most of the time I am in Pune. I joined Masai 2 months back as a senior curriculum engineer and pedagogy engineer. So my primary role is to fill in the gaps and make sure that our curriculum is industry relevant. Are you married? Yes, I am married. I have a 8-year-old daughter. ठीक है. Yeah, so why did I leave my previous job? So when I planned to move on, I was offered a very, very high role in my previous company. And in fact, I boast about it a lot that I was promoted in every 6 months. So in my past job where I worked for 4.5 years, I was promoted every 6 months. Tap, 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 tap. But I wanted to get into more of training. I wanted to get into more of training than engineering. Since many of you are asking this question, so let me, give a bit of context. It will take maximum of 2-5 minutes. How old am I? I'll be 40 years old in the next year. Okay. What is my package? It's very big. You'll be jealous if I speak that out. Chalo. I am not an IITian. I am not from IT background. Actually, I am a self-taught programmer. So what happened is during the COVID times, when lots of people were not able to complete their graduation, right? So a few of them reached out to me. I created 2 batches of 20 people and started training them myself. So there were 3 batches actually, 20, 20, and 1. So total 41 people. And within 7-8 months, I was able to train them. I was able to help them find a nice job. And most of them were not from the IT background. And that was a very good feeling to help, make careers of people, right? To help take people out from poverty, literally. So then I decided that whenever I get a chance, I'll be doing full-time teaching. Okay? That's enough about me. Okay? Okay? That's enough. I'm not from the CS background. I did Bachelor of Computer Application from an open university, but let me tell you, that was pretty much useless. Okay? That's enough about me. Let's start with the course. Okay? How to make best use of this course. Okay? So friends, I will be giving you some problems that may be beyond your capability. Okay? It's okay if you get stuck. It's okay if you make mistakes. It's perfectly fine. Okay? Okay? Just trust me. I won't give up on you. I'll keep explaining things to you until it get it. But my teaching methodology is called growth mindset. Whenever you want, you may explore these links. Obviously, these are optional. So when we try to do something that is slightly beyond our capability, our mind opens up for new things. Okay. And yeah, and what I'll do is I'll create threads in the Slack channel. Okay. So be assured that I'll answer each and every of your question. If you are sincere enough, I won't give up on you. Okay. Second thing, friends, don't depend too much on rewatching the recording. It's okay. It's okay to rewatch the recordings, but it's too expensive on your time to rewatch a recording of 2.5, 3 hours. It's very, very inefficient. So better be very, very attentive in the class. I'll be sharing notes with you, and you can revise a 2.5 hours class in less than 20 minutes using those notes if you are very, very sincere in the class. Are you getting what I'm saying? Next thing, be an active participant, right? Even if things like yes, no, out of 420 of you, 420 log hai participants. So out of 420 of you, only 10 or 20 are replying yes or no, So what happens if we are not typing, or if we are, even though you are enjoying, or if, I know you are all listening to me, I know you are all happy, but if we don't participate by typing or doing things, then our mind goes to the sleep mode and we don't even realize when we are not learning. Okay, so make sure that for simple things like yes, no, true, false, make it a two-way learning. Third point clear to all of you? Now, fourth point is again very much related to one of the questions one of you asked. Sir, if we have a doubt in a very complicated problem, will you help me? If you are sincere and you are finding a concept hard to understand, I'll be there for you anytime. Okay. But if you're not being sincere, I have zero tolerance for insincerity. For example, there are a few people, just a few, 2-3% of people. Classes mein, they are invisible. Assignments mein, they are invisible. They don't watch the pre-class videos. They are only seen during evaluations. And they ask the same things that has already been taught in the classes and pre-classes video. Should I be spending my time and energy on them? Should I be spending my time and energy on them? Right? If someone has not watched the pre-class video, if someone is not attentive in the class, and they are taking away everyone's 1 hour, so I have zero tolerance for such behavior. Okay? But if you find a concept hard to understand, ask me 100 times and I'll answer you 100 times without losing my patience. Okay? And yeah, whenever you feel that, it's too much of theory, just ask me for a break and I'll be very happy to give you. Okay? When I'm teaching, I forget everything else, right? So in case if you find it too much, ask me for a break and I'll be very happy to give you. All right. Chalo. Now try to solve a little bit of problems. Some of them may be, just try to solve them in your mind. Okay. I don't really want you to literally solve them, but try to solve them in your mind and see, see what you get out of it. So can you guess the output of this particular code? Type it out, maybe. What would be the literal output? Good. Many of you are right. Okay, this is the level of participation I want. Okay, I'll quickly run the problem for you. So maybe I'll inspect. I'll go to sources. I'll go to a template or snippet. Just for fun, I'll paste in the code here and I'll run the code for you. So it's chips, 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 then one undefined, and then pizza. Now my question is, friends, now my question for you is, I'll be sharing these revision notes with you, okay? Don't worry. Now my question for you is, many of you, we will see why we have chips first, why do we have pizza first, but why do we have an undefined here? I want one of you to answer it. Why do we have undefined here? This is an interview question, by the way. This is an entry-level interview question. So see, friends, again, this is from JS101, but I'll quickly revise you the concept. This is a function. We have declared a function here, and this is the function invocation, right? So whenever a function does not return anything explicitly, so whenever we are not returning anything, whenever we are not returning anything explicitly, what does JavaScript return for us? Undefined. Yeah, for some of you, set timeout is unknown. Don't worry, we will cover it. I told you, we'll be doing things that are a bit out of your capacity. Okay. So again, we'll be doing this in great detail, but I want you to try to solve it. Okay. Okay, I'll skip this. Maybe, you may try this at home and see, what's the solution for this. I want you to guess the output here. So what's going to happen? Again, this is an interview question. Again, this is an interview question. Just think for a moment and see what could be its answer. So if you see, if you read the code, there is a function called main. And we are invoking the function main here with the call keyword. Then inside the main, we have a regular function. Inside that, we have an arrow function, and we are invoking them. So what this question is trying to check is, what does this point to in each of them? Some of you are getting it right. Many of you are getting it wrong. If you are getting it wrong, don't worry, friends. By the mid of this course, you will be able to answer each and every of these questions just by looking at them. Okay, we are just expanding our mind to different possibilities. Okay, for those who were not able to solve them, don't feel bad. Okay, we will be looking at all of them, but give your effort. Try to think why this is happening. It's very important. It's very important to try before I teach you. There is no new syntax here, right? Everything you have learned in the previous units. But why? Why are things working this way? You need to be very clear with it. So if I clear the console and run the code. Okay, have you not learned .call, friends? Okay, I'll cover it. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll cover it. Okay. So basically from the regular hello, this will point to the window object. And from the arrow function, this will point to this object named Vivek. Why? We have an entire class on that. Okay, don't worry about that. I'll make everything very, very easy for you if you are sincere enough. Okay, one last question we'll take before moving ahead. Okay, let's take this one. Again, have you learned logical operators in unit 1 and 2? So tell me, what will be the output of this? Maybe console.log. What would be the output of it? Why null? Why so many wrong answers, friends? It's an entry level question, right? If I execute it, the answer is 3. Okay, since many of you or operator always choose falsy value, exactly opposite of that, Deepak, exactly opposite of that. So what or operator does is it tries to find the first truthy value it can find. Okay, let me give you a short refresher on the no falsy value, completely wrong funda. I'll cover it in detail. Let me note it down. I'll surely cover it in detail because it's used a lot in React. It's asked a lot in interview questions. You need to be comfortable with it, friends. Chalo, we will do it. Don't worry. Chalo, let's start step by step. Let's start step by step. What are we doing here in this line? Speak like an engineer, okay? Not like a layman. What are we doing here? So whenever I unmute and ask any one of you, you should say we are declaring a variable called first name. Okay? What are we doing here in the highlighted line? We are initializing or assigning a value to the variable that we created. Very good. What are we doing here? Speak like an engineer. What are we doing here? We are declaring and initializing, or in other words, we are defining a variable and assigning it a value. Declare and assign mein fark, is it clear to all of you? Right? Very simple, but very, very important for you to know. And what are we trying to do here, friends? Are we declaring? Are we assigning? What are we doing here? We are not calling, we call function. We invoke function. Here we are trying to access or try to look up, okay? Or looking up the value. Clear, everyone? We are trying to access the values stored in this variable, or we are trying to look up the value. Okay. So suppose we have declared a variable. Okay. We have declared a variable, friends. What all type of values can be assigned to variables? Again, these are quick revision of unit 1 and 2. It can be a primitive type or a non-primitive type, right? It can be a string, number, Boolean, undefined, null, big End, symbol, object, array, or a function. Let me, quickly revise it. So let A, what have I done here, friends? Speak like an engineer. We are declaring a variable called A. If I try to access A here in the console, what would I get? Undefined, because we have not assigned any value to it, right? If I check type of A, what would I get? Undefined, right? But friends, if I assign a value to it, maybe here or maybe in the same line, let A equals to, for example, Vivek. Now, what is A? What does A hold? Vivek. And what is the type of A? String, right? So this thing in JavaScript is called dynamic typing. And everything is present in the notes. So at the time of declaration, JavaScript does not know the type of A. it does not know the value of A. So I'll just move it to 2 lines so that it's easier for you to understand. So A is equal to Vivek. So here in line number 1, JavaScript does not know the value of A. JavaScript does not know the type of A. So JavaScript gives us it a value of undefined. And the type of undefined value is undefined. Okay. And here, as soon as we gave A some value, now JavaScript knows that the type of A is supposed to be string. Okay. Similarly, if I give it a value of, say, for example, 5. And let me console log it here. Console.log A. Okay. And let me clear it and let me. So now you see it's 5. And if I see type of 5, it's going to be a number. Okay. Now, friends, one of you asked me what is big int. Again, this is not in the scope of our class, but I want all of you to know it. So what happens is, friends, in JavaScript, the number type can safely represent only up to this number, which is 2 to the power of 53 minus 1. So for example, if I take this particular number, you don't have to remember this, okay? Just remember 2 to the power 53 minus 1. And now if I assign it this value and I run the code, I'll get this number in the console, right? So this is number. But if I make it a larger number, for example, suppose here I'll do again 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for example, a larger number than this. And if I run the code, you see that the number has changed. Do you see this, friends? Why? Suppose your interviewer asks you, why has the value changed? Its type is still number. Because the type number cannot hold any value more than this particular number, which is 2 to the power 53 minus 1. Okay. Okay. Now, how to represent a big number? So all we have to do is, friends, again, there is, suppose, there is no way to type here that let A is of type big int, right? There is no such way here. So how do I tell JavaScript that this number is a big int? Yes, we put an N, alphabet N to the end. And now if I run the code, you see that I get the exact same number. And now its type should be big int, friends. I need to refresh the page. Save it and run it. Type of, oh, sorry, friends. Thank you, friends. Thank you for saving my life. So you will see that its type is big int, and now JavaScript is able to store this very, very big number, which is larger than 2 to the power 53 minus 1. Now, friends, this is enough. This is all you need to know about big int. What? That whenever we need to store a number larger than 2 to the power 53 or lesser than minus 2 to the power 53 minus 1, one is for storing the sign. So let's not go into that. So then we need to use a big int, and the way we tell JavaScript that it's a big int, it's n. Okay, I'll let you do rest of the exploration, right? Because we need to cover lots of other concepts. Okay, so begin, you just need to know this much, that for any number bigger than this number, and this is present in your notes. Okay, I'll share these notes with you. For any number bigger or smaller than this, you need to use big int. Why big int is there and what is the use? Kulshum, would you like to say, just by looking at this definition, why big int is important and what is the use? Suppose mostly what happens in scientific calculations, right? In astronomical calculations, in very, very big calculations, if we happen to hit a number that is bigger than this, then what will happen with number? What will happen with number? It will give us a wrong answer, right? We saw it here, right? If we don't make it a big int, then the number is distorted. Don't you think? It will give us a very, very wrong answer if the value of a is this instead of this. Got it? So this is the utility of big int. So whenever we have to deal with a number that is bigger than this, actually you don't need to remember this, friends. Just remember 2 to the power 53 minus 1. Okay, then big int is very useful. Cool. Chalo. So you can assign these primitives and these non-primitives to a variable. Can you assign an object to a variable? Can you assign an object? Yes, you can assign an object. Can you assign an array to a variable? Yes, you can assign an array. Its type is object. Why? We will see it. Can you assign a function? To a variable? Yes. So basically, the summary, just a quick revision of your unit 1 and 2, you can assign all these types of values to a variable that you are declaring. Until here, is it clear to all of you, friends? People who have not typed anything yet, can you type something for me? Yes, no. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. Have you learned about symbols in unit 1 and 2, friends? Okay. So friends, symbols is another primitive type. Okay. Symbol is another primitive type. Again, you don't need to know it in detail because teaching symbol will takes one entire 2-hour class. Okay. But for now, one thing is that symbol is a new primitive type added to JavaScript. One thing. Second thing, I'll provide you some revision notes. Okay. At the end of the class. Just give me a second, friends. Is there too much of background noise or is it okay? It's okay, right? Okay. So if you want to learn more about symbols and backend, I have provided a video link. In your free time, you can learn them. Okay. I'll share this document with all of you. All right. So it is recorded in my voice and it will be very easy for you to follow along. Nice. Now, friends, one question that will surely 100% be asked to you in your interviews is, what is the difference between var, let, and const? So friends, would you like to type out the answer if you have learned so far? Chalo, let me quickly cover it because I see more than 50% of the answers wrong, okay, or incomplete. So friends, okay, now stop typing and listen to me carefully. Hmm? Now listen to me carefully. So whenever an interviewer or your manager asks you what's the difference between var, let, and const, they are primarily they want to listen what is the difference between var and let. Okay, and const ke liye we will add a fourth point here. So let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. I'll again go to the snippets and everything is, friends, I spend as much time writing the notes as writing a book. So I've spent lots of time here. I'll be sharing it with you, and whatever I'm doing here in the class, you will be having all of that. Okay, so don't worry, it will be very easy for you to revise everything. Is it okay if I make font a little smaller? A little small, okay? Command minus. So what is a block in JavaScript? Huh? Just don't worry about the entire thing. Anything that has an opening and closing curly bracket and it does not have a function, it's not a function, it's a block. So if is a block, okay? Anything, for example, can you give me example of any other type of block? Loops, okay? Loops are blocks. Switch is block. So everything that has an opening and closing curly bracket and it's not a function, that's a block. Okay. Now let me type things out for you, then it will be clear for you. Let me type things out for you. We get rid of all of this. Okay. So here I have a function and I'm invoking that function, as simple as that. Now let me declare a variable with var using the keyword var. Var student name is equal to, yes, everything is a block, okay, with an opening and closing curly brackets, and which is not a function. So if a student's name is Arun, for example, now is this thing accessible inside of the block? So can I access the variable here? Console.log student name. Will it work? See that it works, right? We can see that it works. Okay. Okay. Now, if I try to access student's name here outside of the block, would it work? How many of you think no and how many of you think yes? So many no's. Unit 1 cheating करके पास किए, हाँ? देखो, let's see what happens, huh? Let me clear the console and let me run. And we can see that we are still able to access Arun. Why? Because var is scoped by function and not the block. एक function में ही इतनी ताकत है कि var को वो scope कर सकता है. Okay, it will be more clear if I do this. If I try to print this outside of the function, would it work? Student name is not defined, right? So this student name is accessible anywhere inside of the function. Clear? It is available inside the block. It is available inside the function. Now, friends, if I make it a let, will it work, friends? सोच के बोलो. Don't be in a hurry to type. Just think for a moment and then type. And now if I run the code, it's working, right? And now if I move this code outside of the block, now if I move this code outside of the block and try to run it, student name is not defined. Why? Why student name is not defined? Because variables declared with let keyword and const keyword, let and const are almost the same with just one minor difference. We'll look into it, okay? So whatever I'm teaching for let is mostly applicable for const. So let whatever variables declared by the let keyword are scoped by block. So if it was a loop or anything, it is still scoped inside the block and it's not accessible from outside. Now let's go back to our notes. Let's go back to our code and read the definition. Variables declared with let are block scoped. Variables declared with var are function scoped. This should be your first line of answer. Rahul's question is, can we return var from the function? Why not? Okay. Crystal clear to all of you, friends? Shall we move to next example, next logic? Okay. You have these notes. You are free to revise it. I have a very detailed answer here. Okay. There are lots of examples here. You can go through them in your free time. Another interesting thing. Suppose I have a var called student name and its name is Arun. We know that it will work as expected. So console.log student name. If I run it, I'll see Arun here. There is no doubt about it. Okay. Friends, can I do this? What would be console log? Let's see. Oh my God. I declared a variable called student name. I assigned it a value. I initialized it with a value. Then I redeclared a variable using var keyword student name, and I was able to do that. Oh my God, this looks scary, right? If I keep var here, okay, friends. So I am declaring a variable here in line number 2 using var keyword. Student name is Arun. If in this block, I am redeclaring it and assigning it a value called Saurav, and I'm console logging it outside of the block. What would be the answer, friends? सोच के बताना. The answer is Saurav. So for people who answered Arun, why? Why do you think it was Arun? 20% of you answered it with Arun, right? So what happens is, friends, that this var can scoped only by a function. So whatever is inside of this function, if it's the same label, if it's the same variable name, it will be overwritten, whether it's a declaration or a non-declaration. So the answer would be exactly the same. So the thing to remember is, sorry friends, let me mute my phone. Yeah. Okay. Okay, this funda is clear to all of you, that vars can be redeclared, okay, and vars are function scoped. Very important. This is like, leak hua question. This will certainly be asked in interview, and you should be able to explain it from your understanding. Rat ke nahi. I have interviewed more than 500 people, friends. I have interviewed more than 500 candidates, and I can tell you that आप अगर रट के बोल रहे हो, if you have just memorized something, it is clearly visible to an interviewer. But if you are speaking from an understanding, then also it's visible that this person knows the concept. He has not just memorized things, right? So whatever you will see in my notes, they are all my own words, most of them, right? So that they don't sound bookish. Okay. Can we say that it takes the latest value? That will be a wrong mental model, Jayesh. That will be a wrong mental model in some of the examples. The value gets updated within the scope. That would be the right mental model, because when we'll be working with set timeouts, etc., maybe the latest one won't be the real latest one. Okay, so think of it like this. Okay, I see Mohit has raised their hand. Do you want me to make you a panelist? Okay. Chalo. Okay. Now, let's move to the third point. Let's move to the third point. Can you please explain the second point again? Yes, sure, friend. I'll again explain the second point. So here we go. So friends, we have declared, so what's happening here in line number 2? Just think of it like an engineer. First of all, this entire thing is inside a function, and it's the function that can scope a variable declared with the keyword var. So this var student name is available all across this variable, all across this function, right? Inside of the same function, I can redeclare, I can redeclare var student name. So basically this var here is useless. It will basically override the same thing that is already present. Okay, this is the second point, that you can redeclare a variable that was originally declared using a var. Okay, that's why, I told you that these simple terminologies are very important. We are declaring a variable, we are assigning a value to it, we are reassigning a value, and here what we are doing is we are redeclaring the value. All are different things. Okay. Now the last point. So just 3 points. If you answer it like this, oh yeah, let me show you the same thing with, let me show you the exact same thing with let. Will it work, friends? No, right? Why? Let's start from here. So this thing does not work, and it gives an error called identifier student name has already been declared. Okay. Now, friends, this won't work. We know by definition that let cannot be declared. Okay. But if I place this exact same thing inside of this block, what will happen? Friends, I want a real answer. What will happen? If this is asked to you in an interview, how would you answer it? Okay, I'll run the code and then you answer. I'll just run the code. So I see Saurabh, I see Arun. Why? Very good. Since let is block scoped, this let is powerful or available only inside this block. So friends, when we redeclare a variable inside of a block, it actually does not override the outside one. This student name is a different identifier. This student name is a different identifier. This is a different value. This is a different value. Can you please comment out line number 5? So if I comment out line number 5, what will happen? Very good. If I comment out line number 5, what will happen? See a couple of things, friends. It's interesting, you know. Fundamentals are very important. Here we are declaring a variable. You know, in tomorrow's pre-class video, these concepts will be very, very important for you. Okay, so pay a lot of attention. Here we are trying to look up a variable called student. Is these two comments clear to all of you? In line number 5, we are trying to declare a variable called student name. Here we are trying to look up a variable called student name. Okay. So when JavaScript tried to look up student name here, it could find a student name declared inside the same block, same scope. And it obviously showed us Saurav. Right? I need to refresh it. But if I comment this line out, what will happen in the lookup? It will look for the student name inside of the block, not available. It will look outside in the parent block. It would find Arun, and what would it print? Arun, Arun. Simple, right? Why undefined in the last? Who will answer it? Prashant? I explained it right towards the beginning of the class. Because this function is not returning anything. So now if I return something from here, maybe return Prashant, then what will happen? Arun, Prashant, right? But since I'm not returning anything explicitly, what is JavaScript returning for us? Undefined. So this unvisible return is here, okay? Nice, very good. Whoever asked me, I forgot to read your name. This was a very good question. Chalo. Last point, friends. Last point. Bottom is not visible. It's visible now. और कुछ नहीं है. This is all. If you are able to see the pointer, the entire screen is visible. Yeah. So what happens is, even if you are inside of a loop, for example, again, I have given these examples here in notes. Please feel free to go through them. So I have given lots of examples here. Okay, so I'll let you go through them. Okay, I won't take much time for this one point, but yeah, feel free to go through the notes and deepen your concepts. Last thing is, yeah, this is again interesting. So let me get rid of everything. Let's not worry about scope for now. So var student name is Arun. And if I try to log it, Arun का नाम तो बहुत आ रहा है आज. And if I try to run it, we'll see Arun, no doubt about that, right? What will happen now, friends? What will happen now? Error and undefined are different things. Getting an error or getting an undefined, they are different things. सोच के बोलो. Student name is it's going to be undefined. Again, you know, this concept will be very, very clear to you in tomorrow's pre-class video. Okay, so what basically happens is JavaScript is a two-pass system, or it's normally called as hoisting. So this variable, okay, this variable is present here invisibly. It's present in the top of the file. Okay, so student name is here, but it's not initialized. It's not initialized with any value. JavaScript initializes it with undefined. Why? This will be clear to you in tomorrow's pre-class video. Okay, I'll upload that immediately after today's class. And so here, when we try to access, so we already have student name, right? It did not give us any error. JavaScript knew that we have a variable or identifier called student name. But its value is undefined, which is set by JavaScript. Now let me bring this down. Why is var function scoped? It was designed that way. See, programs are written by engineers, right? And it's their choice to take decisions, right? Now, if we do the same thing with let, if you do the same thing with let, the answer would be Sonali, error क्यों? Arun, right? We are declaring a variable. We are assigning a variable. We are looking up the variable. No scope of error, right? We are reading the variable. Hey, sorry friends, I got dropped from the call and I don't know what happened. So sorry. So sorry for the chaos. Let me again try to reshare my screen. No, it's not Zoom error. It's mostly the internet connection of the place I am in. So I'll make sure that I fix it by end of the day today. Let me just give me a minute. Let's do a small little thing. And oh, you treated it as a break. That's a nice attitude. Okay, let me share my screen again. Yeah, I hope things are working now. Nice. Uh, so so basically because of power cut, all of my desktop went off and I'm literally not able to find my window. Nice. So here, if we look at the definition, friends, variables declared with let cannot be accessed before initialization. So what will happen here? If we try to access Arun student name before initialization, okay, before initialization, if I try to access it, and if I run the code, we'll get an error. And the error would be reference error, cannot access student name before initialization. So these are the three things you will need a lot as JavaScript engineers. You will be requiring a lot. You'll be requiring it a lot in the interview. 3 points. Variables declared with let are block scoped. Var function scoped. Let does not allow redeclaration. Var allows redeclaration. Variables declared with let cannot, I'll just remove this so that it's easier. Cannot be accessed before initialization. So you need to be very comfortable with 3 points. Go through the examples that I've shared whenever you get time, but just remembering these 3 points and understanding these 3 points are more than enough. For const, okay, for most parts, let and const works the same way. The only difference is that consts, the variables declared with const, cannot be reassigned. I'm not telling redeclared, not even reassigned. What does this mean? Again, it's a unit 1-2 thing, but I'll quickly revise so that when we are discussing the more complicated problems, you are not stuck here. Okay, is my voice clear? Is my voice clear? I'm in mobile data, so I was just a little worried. Okay, yeah, let's see this. So friends, mm, let's do something. Const teacher name or teacher is Vivek. And then again, I try to reassign is teacher is equal to XYZ or John. So when I try to run the code, you can see that we are trying to assign something to a constant variable. It won't work, right? Now, if it's a non-primitive, say for an example, an object, and it has a name key called Vivek. And can I do something like this? Can I do something like this? You can see that we are trying to assign something to a constant variable. Excuse me, friends. So if we have declared a variable using const keyword, we cannot use equal to assign a new value to it. Okay, this is called reassignment. We cannot do that. But can we do this? Can we mutate object? So for example, if I make it let obj is equal to this object, hmm, let teacher is equal to obj. Can I do something like this? Obj dot name is equal to John. Can I do something like this? Hmm, we can surely do this. Why? Because we are not assigning anything to the teacher. We are not using teacher equals to something. We are mutating or we are changing some properties or adding something to the object which is doable with const. With variables declared using const, we cannot reassign a value using equal to teacher equal to something xyz. We cannot do that, but we can certainly mutate or we can change the values. Okay, is it clear to all of you? Please console log teacher once. Sure, I would. Console.log. There are two ways. Either we can console log teacher like this, or you can directly check teacher in the console like this. I'll just revise it and I'll print teacher. It doesn't seem to be visible. I'll open the console drawer. I'll now just clear it and console log from here. Console.log teacher. And now if I execute it, the name of the new teacher is John. Don't worry about these things. I don't know why they are showing up. Okay. Can you dock it outside the Chrome? Yeah, in that way it would become a full screen. I'll surely do it once my power is back and I have my second monitor. Okay. Chalo. Let's move ahead, friends. Let's move ahead. How many of you need a break? It's almost 1.5 hours, right? Why so many of you don't need a break? It's a long time, right? let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. Not needed. Why? Are you not tired? Chalo. 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 Let's take a break. 50% of you are asking. So how much time should it be? Chai vai banana hai 7 minutes ka break or a 5-minute break? 5 or 7? Oh my God, so many mixed answers. Let's keep it 5 minutes for today, okay? 7 minutes? 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Lots of sevens. Okay, let's take a 7 minutes break, friends. Not more than 7, huh? Be back in 6 minutes, 30 seconds, okay? I'd like all of you to move away from the screen for 6.5 minutes and then be back 100% fresh and ready for a lot of theory, okay? So please take a break. Please take a nice break, friends. The reason I am not pausing the recording is that what happens is then only the last part of the recording gets uploaded to the LMS, right? I don't want that to happen. Just that's why I'm not pausing the recording. There is one question. I'll answer that after the break. Okay, not now. Yes, Tina. You can mutate object in any way. Let's try it out right now, or let's see it after the break. Okay, so that we can check it in front of everyone. I want you all to be away from screen. Go have a short walk, stretch up, everyone. Have a sip of water, tea, whatever you want to. How to make a tea in 5 minutes? 7 minutes. Where you have to find skill to make it. Mm. Have things ready, and maybe figure out a way. You made your coffee, so yeah. Ask Rishabh. He made his coffee in 6 minutes. Hmm. You have to figure out ways, right? We cannot have a big break, like big end. Okay, everyone back, please. Everyone back to your keyboard. All of you back. So let's see. So let's see a couple of questions, okay, before moving ahead, so that we answer or address each one of them. So one is today's JS101 assignment. We'll be looking into it, Rahul. We'll be solving that step by step. Okay, don't worry. Second question is Shubhangi, I'll be eating gajar ka halwa. Nice, हमें भी courier करना थोड़ा. फिर Sudhanshu, I want to know what if true was doing. Okay, let me quickly show this to you. So let me open a new window so that we can make it full screen without disturbing the rest of the program. So I'll pull it here and put it here and inspect. I'll make it sort of a full screen. Go to sources and snippet. Okay. So friends, let A is equal to 5. Let B is equal to 7. Excuse me. So if I run this program, friends, what would I get? What would be console logged? Hmm? Why? Hmm? Hmm? What is happening? How is JavaScript working? You should know that. Hmm? You should know that. Do all of you know the difference between truthy and falsy values? Hmm? Does everyone know the difference between truthy and falsy value? I'll pull in the chat window here, so that I can monitor that. I don't know how to get it here. Okay, now tell me one thing. Does JavaScript again, you will see this in today's tomorrow's pre-class video, but JavaScript executes line by line. Okay. So in the execution phase of JavaScript knows that there is a variable A, its value is 5. There is a variable called V, its value is 7. Then it runs this line of code. It evaluates this expression, A greater than B, and what does this expression result into? So if JavaScript just runs A greater than B, this will return into a false, right? So false is a falsy value. So if this expression returns a falsy value, will this line of code be ever executed? No. So this line is never executed and JavaScript moves ahead. Then it resolves this expression, A lesser than B. What does this expression return? True. Is true a truthy value? Right? If the expression inside it returns a truthy value, will this line of code be executed? Right? If I want this line of code to be executed every single time, irrespective of what is here, if I want to execute this line of code every single time, what can I do? I can keep a truthy value here, right? So if I keep it true or any truthy value, is it guaranteed that this line of code will run every single time? Right? That's exactly what I did to create the block scope. Is it clear to you now? All of you? Nice. Let's see one or two more questions if I can find. Yeah. One of the questions was, I want to ask, why are we getting undefined in the second? Don't worry about that for now. Okay. Don't worry about undefined here in the console. Okay. In this snippet thing. Okay. Now another thing, let const obj is an object name Vivek. Okay. Now the question was, can I console log object? Console.log object. Yes, I can, and I'll be able to see this object here. Can I do something like this? Obj dot name is equal to John. And the answer is absolutely yes. Okay. Only object ko you cannot reassign. You cannot do something like object equals to whatever. You cannot reassign a value to object. You can mutate object as many number of times as you want with const. So that's the difference between the reassignment and mutation. Okay. All right. Isn't it cool, this one? For these small little things, instead of, we will be using VS Code a lot, but for these small little snippets, Chrome has given us this thing and we can debug it. We can see the scopes, we can watch, we can put breakpoints. It's very powerful, as an engineer, you should be aware of this snippet thing. Okay. So don't be confined to one thing. Okay. Be open to explore new tools, be open to learn new ways. Okay. So that's why I'm not using VS Code today. Okay, any other questions, friends? Please feel free to ask again if in case I have missed any of your question. Yeah, we can change arrays. Can we make calculations with one number and begin? You try it yourself and let us know. Tushar, what is your question? You can type again. What are sets? Okay, we'll say it. It's not a part of our curriculum, but yeah, I'll be happy to teach you. I'll note it down somewhere. Please take an array example with const. Yeah, you can do it yourself, right? Const ARR is equal to maybe, 1, 2, 3. These things you can do yourself, right? Array.push for console.log array. You can do these things yourself, right? And we can see that same thing. We can mutate it. We cannot reassign it. Functions are also blocks, right? Functions are also blocks. All right, let's move ahead. Let or consts are mostly the same. The only difference is that for const, you cannot reassign. You cannot do something like this. Array is equal to 890. Or you cannot do this with const. It will give an error, right? But you can do this with let. This is the only difference, friends. Okay. I don't know. Let's refresh it, maybe. Yeah, you can see that. You can reassign, okay? Which one should you prefer? So friends, there are lots of conflicting opinions. Which one should you prefer? But I would say start with const. If you have to reassign it, then use let. And if nothing else, then var. So that is the best way to go, okay? Var is very powerful. I used it a lot in the open source contributions that I made, but for now, the general opinion is to go with const and let first. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. Friends, again, about function, again, nothing new. A function is a set of statements in JavaScript which are callable. You can execute, you can call a function, right? So for example, you have a function here, you can call the function using opening and closing parentheses, or there are other ways. It can take arguments. So when calling it can take, you can supply arguments. It has a set of statements that can either perform tasks or calculations, right? It can perform some sort of calculation, do things, console logging something. It can return a value. You can return something from a function. So for example, you have a function called add numbers. If it's returning the sum, so when you invoke add numbers, you can, assign the return value to a variable. So this is something you have already seen. Now functions, there are, broadly three ways to declare a function. One is called function declaration. Okay. So here it starts with the keyword function. Function declaration. You are directly declaring a function with the keyword function. Again, when you will learn about hoisting, etc., these work in different ways. So please pay attention, even though it sounds very basic, please pay attention. So this is a function declaration where it starts with the keyword function. This is a function expression. So we have a variable, a simple variable called fun, and we are assigning a function to it. So this becomes a function expression. And then we have an arrow function. So, you have opening close. So you all are clear with arrow functions, right? Have you studied arrow functions? Yeah, you have studied arrow functions, right? Take care. Chalo, nice. Okay, someone was asking me, can you use bigint and normal int together? So again, try it out. Let a is equal to 5. Let b is equal to 5, but this time make it a bigint. Okay. Then if I run it, and if I clear the console, so these things, I want you all to do this. We studied arrow function, but would like to get a little bit more clarification. What's the difference between arrow function? Okay, confused a lot with arrow function. We'll see it, okay? We'll see it. So if we see type of A, it's a number. Type of B, it's a bigint. Now, if I try to do A plus B, so it says that type error, we cannot mix bigint and other types. Got it? Cool. Lunch time, dimag kharab ho gaya. Your lunch time from now, even 1 o'clock was my lunch time. But since it is by voting of all of you intelligent students, right? So now our lunch time has shifted to 2 o'clock. Okay, got it? So you cannot mix these two implicitly. Okay, just do a little bit of Google around it. Let's move ahead. Let's move ahead. So friends, I want to do a very quick task before I move ahead. Okay, so I'll just share a code pen with all of you. So your code pen would look something like this. Okay, it has some JavaScript. We are console logging something. In the bottom left, you see a console button. You can click that to see the console. Okay, so console is already here, and you can see that it's giving undefined. You have to think why it's giving undefined, and read the problem statement yourself. Okay, read the problem statement yourself. Try to solve it. How to solve it? Before solving it, fork it. So here you will see a fork button below. Okay, यहाँ पे in the bottom right, you can click the fork. You may have to log in with your GitHub account, then fork it, solve it, and share your URL in the chat. Okay, so for example, first thing I have to do is I must be logged in, okay, with my GitHub account. Then I'll click fork. You will see that URL will change. I'll get my own version of the problem. So once I have the new URL, I'll solve it. Okay, do things here. I'll save it, make sure to save it, and then share the URL once you have the correct answer. So your task is to read the problem statement and then solve it all by yourself. So I'll just share it in the chat. So I'll just share it in the chat. Bottom was not visible to a few of you. So I'll just make it smaller. So here you'll see you have this console tab here, and you have this fork button here. Okay. Just I've shared the link now. Just play around with it. I'll give you 2 minutes or maybe 3 minutes. Try to solve it and share your oh sorry, I sent the link to I sent the link to only hosts and panelists. Everyone. Okay. This is another thing you have to level up is that you won't be spoon feeded anymore, right? You have to learn to read the problem statement and you have to learn to solve it. Try to do it yourself. And once you are done, oh yeah, I'm already getting a lot of code pens. Good, 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 good. Nice. I see null here. Very good. Very good. See a lot of code pens. Okay. Already solved, Mila. No worries. But you got you know how to work with code pen problems. Is it clear to all of you? It's a very common way of interviewing these days that you have to share your screen, fork the code pen and solve a problem. Mohammed, what is the question? See, I've repeated it so many times now. You have to read the problem statement here. So what is the problem statement here? Nuller function is expected to return a Boolean value called null. As you are growing as engineers, as you are moving towards interviews and a real job, you have to learn to read a problem, understand it, and solve it. Okay, don't expect it to be explained by me. In your CodePen, fork will only be available once you log in with your GitHub account. See, so many people are sharing, right? They were able to fork it. You have to log in. What does fork means? Fork means creating a copy, creating an exact copy of something. How do you do that? You do that with the fork button here. Do you see a fork button here? I'll annotate it maybe. I'll maybe annotate it. Do you see a fork button here? You have to click it. Okay. All right. Okay, everyone. How to run code as you type, it will run. Just wait for a few seconds after typing, it will run by itself. We cannot see fork. You'll be able to see fork only. See, I have to repeat things again and again, right? It's not something desirable from engineers. Ab tak theek tha, but now listen, learn to listen carefully. Okay. you have to log in with GitHub and maybe refresh the window once before you are able to see fork. Okay, now everyone stop sharing. I'm very happy most of you did it right. I've again answered it so many times. Fork means creating an exact copy of something. Okay, now everyone pay attention to my screen, okay? Now stop sharing. See what happens. Here it's written that nuller is expected to return a Boolean value null. So by default, it's returning undefined because we have not explicitly returned anything. How can we return null? It's as simple as this, and most of you have done it correct, right? So when I write this and wait for a few seconds, maybe 3 or 5 seconds, I see that null is in the console. Okay, and we don't have to do literally anything. It's just by default available. Okay, and you just give a few spaces and wait, and it will run again all by itself. Maybe put an enter and just wait for a few seconds, and it should most probably run by itself. Okay, so this is one thing I wanted all of you to know, is that now in JS201 you have to be very, very comfortable reading problem statements. Don't expect them to be very, very, very clear. They will be clear, but you have to figure out from your side as well what is needed to be done. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yeah, so maybe the link that was shared to you was an already solved one. Okay, don't worry about that. But did you get my point? So now from today onwards, all of your assignments are going to be in the coding platform. Okay, how many of you have used coding platform before today? Shivansh, is it practical that I give you a break for lunch? 2.5 hours के class में, is it feasible for me to give a lunch break? It's not at all feasible, na? Because every day we have classes at that time. One thing, you can certainly, because I am also feeling very, very hungry, right? So you can definitely, request your experience manager to shift class in such a way that the class gets over by 1 o'clock, right? This is something feasible that you can do, but it's not feasible for me to. It's really not feasible for me to give a lunch break in between of class. Okay. Okay. Now, cool. So friends, if you all are familiar with coding platform, then super awesome, because all of your assignments and evaluations, including evaluations, would be on CP coding platform. I'll demo one for everyone. Okay. Now it is very, very, very important for you to solve your assignments to be ready for your evaluations. आप assignments नहीं करोगे, zero मिलेगा evaluations में, I can guarantee you that. But as you keep solving your assignments, you will keep getting ready for your evaluations. If you think that assignments को छोड़ के सीधा evaluations करेंगे, it won't work. Okay, so make sure that you solve all of your assignments. Now the problems would be more from the real world. I have already clarified this. You will need to get comfortable with reading and understanding problem statements. Very, very important. When you will, you'll be facing interviews, you will basically be facing problem statements, a lot of them. When you'll be working in a real company, you'll be given Jira tickets, which will be nothing but problem statements. So better get comfortable with problem statements in assignments. And people who, who do a lot of efforts, who give a lot of efforts in practice and assignments, for them, evaluations are really, really, much easier than, people who don't put their effort in assignments. है ना? The only way to get good at reading a problem statement is practicing them as much as possible. Okay, and I'll give you a lot of chance to practice them using assignments. Okay, any questions so far? No questions. It's feasible to have lunch at 2 p.m. हाँ, अभी तक lunch की बातें कर रहे हो आप लोग यार. Sir, we will learn Cypress reading in this unit. Yeah, Cypress के questions होंगे. ठीक है. Yeah, we have evaluations every Monday. Yeah, चलो. So let me try to solve one or two problems in for your today's assignment. Okay, so that in case some of you are not that familiar with coding platform, it will make a little bit sense. Okay, so let me go to the assignment. Assignment has a problem. And you can see that it's in the coding platform, right? cp.masaischool.com. So here you have a README file, which is visible here, right? So here you have installation notes. You have to do npm I for installation. You have to run this command to see tests. Again, you all are already aware of this. Most of your work would happen in source index.js file. And then there are 5 problem statements. You have to learn to read the problem statements and then solve them. Okay. So first thing, again, if you look at the steps, we have to download and extract the zip file to our course directory. So all of you have a course directory, right? Tree master unit, and you have it in your local, right? Watch all and npm, I'll explain you. Okay. Yeah, I'll explain you now. Don't worry. We'll be very, very comfortable with it by the end of this unit. So let's download it. So many of you were telling that you are very clear with the course platform. So how come are you not clear with npm then? Huh? Chalo. So first thing, step is download to your exact directory. So for example, for this particular assignment, it would be unit 3, sprint 1, day 1 assignment or something like that. So I'll download the zip friends. I don't have that students directory with me. So what I'll do is I'll save it maybe here. Okay, so I'll just save it here. Then I'll extract it. And I'll open the directory. I'll just get rid of the old one for now. I'll also get rid of the zip file. And I'll open this directory in my Visual Studio Code. Okay. Make sure that your present working directory, make sure your present directory is this one, the root. What do I mean by root? Root means jahan pe package.json file hai. If I try to look the list of all the files, I should be able to see package.json. That means I am in the root of my project. If I'm inside source, am I in the root? So suppose if I am inside source, am I in the root? I don't see package.json here, right? I should be in the root of my directory. So I have to step out. And I have to be sure that I am in the root of my project. Okay? This is the root of my project where there is a source directory, there is package.json, etc. Okay. I'll just see if anyone has any questions. So your question is working a bit faster. Yeah, Although I'm on my mobile data, but since it's a MacBook, it's obviously a bit faster. आप लोग engineer बन जाओ, then your company would also be giving you a MacBook. ठीक है? So yeah, it's fun to work in MacBook. So yeah, don't worry. This recording is available with you. I have written down all the steps, right? So don't worry if it takes a bit of time. Okay, don't worry. I'll just move these here. I am so much not used to working with a single monitor. So disturbing for me. Yeah, nice. Okay, friends, so far what we have done is we have downloaded and extracted the zip file. Maybe open the project in um, open the project in maybe VS Code. Okay, and make sure that the present working directory is the root directory, is the root directory directory of the project. ठीक है? Till here clear to all of you, right? Yeah, maybe sprint one, day one, jo bhi. Okay. You may ask this from your EC. I'm not much aware of the system here. Okay. So maybe, take help of Soumya or one of the IAs for the exact directory if you have any doubts. Next is npm install. Now, what is this? So friends, you don't need to look into it, but just for your knowledge, if I go to tests, so you see that I'm running a lot of jest commands like test, describe, right? They are literally not a part of JavaScript. This test is not a part of JavaScript. Describe is not a part of JavaScript. So how will VS Code run it? How will VS Code execute, know what is described, know what is test? Any idea? See, when suppose JavaScript JavaScript is aware of certain commands, right? For example, console.log, it knows how to run that. But what about these? We need some code that is written by someone else so that our VS Code can understand this, right? So now if I look at package.json file, so you can see that there are a couple of dependencies here, especially this jest dependency. So we need a way to get all of these dependencies here in our project. Right now you have source, environment, git ignore, Babel, and so and so. But if I do npm install here, npm I here, okay, so it will download all of these dependencies in a new folder called node modules. Right now you don't see a node modules here, but once the install command will end, you will see a node modules directory here. So just let this command execute for a moment. It may take some time to execute. We'll let it execute, okay? Just give it a few minutes. So the npm install command ran, right? It took around 1 minute. So for some of you, it may be like 5 seconds. For some of you, it may be 10-15 minutes, okay? Depending on your bandwidth and your latency, etc. So now you see that we have a node modules directory here, and you have something called jest, right? Everything related to jest here, right? So this is what this npm install command does. It downloads these dependencies in the node modules directory. That is the only utility of it. Okay, so this is your next step, running npm install. Next is npm test space dash dash space dash dash watch all. Okay, now if I just copy this command, friends, and if I run here, so you will see that there were a couple of tests. Just one test has passed and 4 of them have failed. Okay. Now, if I open source index.js file, so let's read and try to solve a couple of problems. So this function takes 2 arguments a and b. Yeah, it's taking 2 arguments a and b. It is expected to return the sum of 2 numbers. Again, the problem statement may be here or it may be in README file. You have to be aware. It can be or a mix of both. Okay, so you have to look at both the places. It is a dummy function just to demonstrate a passing test case. No action is required from students. The test is already passing. Okay, so what does it mean? That we don't have to do anything here. The test is already passing. And if we see really, this particular test is already passing, so we don't have to do anything for it. Let's move to the next problem. Again, template string is something you have already done in unit 1 and 2. It's very, very, very important to master template strings. Okay, it's used a lot in React. It's used a lot in the real world development. So here, if you read the problem statement, the function should return Will Smith's age is 54. Use template strings to solve the problem. And here, if you see, you have a variable called let name, let last name, let age. So obviously, we need to use them. And then we have a variable called greeting, and this function is returning greeting. And here it's clearly written that we want to replace this bit of code with our own code. So can someone type out the answer for me in the chat? What should be the solution for this? No, see, wrong, Ayush, Tushar, Saurav. It's clearly written, you have to use template strings to solve the problems. You have to use interpolation. You have to use this thing, right? You have to use this thing, interpolation. 0 मिल जाएगा अगर प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट ठीक से नहीं पढ़ोगे तो. In no, you don't need plus inside of that. My God, I have to revise template strings for all of you. See, let me solve it for you. Okay, then I'll go through template strings a little bit, or maybe in detail, because it's very important. So let me try to solve it for all of you friends. See, chalo, I'll teach you again. Chalo. So this is the first name. This is the last name. Template string नहीं पढ़ा कभी पहले. This is a problem because I was told that you all know template strings, but yeah, I'll notify it. But let me teach you because it's important. Okay, let me teach you template strings. So friends, let me teach you template strings really quickly. Then again, we'll shift back to coding platform. Okay. Chalo, let me teach you. So if I inspect and I will go to sources, friends. Maybe I had it open somewhere, right? I had it open here. So friends, let A equals to Vivek. What is the type of A? String. So single quote is a way of creating a string. Another is double quotes, right? It is still a string, right? If I do type of A, it will again be a string. Console.log type of A, it's going to be a string again, right? It's going to be a string again. If it's a backtick, which is to the left of 1 or to the top of tab, again, it's a string. So there are 3 ways to literally, type out a string. One is single quote, another is double quote, and the third is backtick. Okay? This is called a template string. What it allows you to do is it allows you to run JavaScript expressions inside of it. So for example, can you give me example of some of the JavaScript expressions? What is an expression? सबसे पहला question to that. What is an expression, friends? Anything that returns a value, right? Anything that returns a value. For example, if I create a function here, for example, function add AB, and it returns A plus B, for example. So friends, anything that you can write in one line or maybe multiple lines, but it returns an expression. For example, add 2 plus 3. टू कोमा 3, सॉरी यार, इतना क्यों परेशान हो रहे हो JavaScript? Huh? So if I'm calling add with 2 and 3, it's giving me back 5, right? Now again, if I write something like A plus B, sorry, 2 plus 6 directly, it returns me something, right? If I write something like 4, if 4 is greater than 2, then return greater, else return smaller. It's an expression, right? So we have an expression and it returns something. Got it? We have an expression, it returns something. Usually, you know how to identify an expression. Suppose this Vivek, it itself is an expression. So template string Vivek basically returns string Vivek, right? So anything that can be put in the right side of the equal to sign are usually expressions. Okay? Any of these things can be put in the right side of an equal to sign. Are you getting it, everyone? It has nothing to do with ES6. It's like it's basic JavaScript knowledge. Not even JavaScript, basic programming language. So what is an expression? That evaluates to some value. Okay, a thing that evaluates to some value. Is this entire thing an expression? No. This is a function statement. It's not an expression. But when you are invoking a function, that's an expression. Is it by itself returning something? When does it return something? When does it do something? When it is invoked here, right? So these are old expressions that returns. Maybe I'll design a lecture or a pre-class, maybe video, where I can explain you all of these things in very, very good details. But for now, just know that anything that can be put to the right side of equal to sign, or anything that evaluates to a value, hmm, anything that evaluates to a value is an expression. Okay. So if I do this, it's an expression. It gives me back a string called Vivek. Okay. Now, friends, let me create a couple of more. So here we have this function. Let teacher equals to Vivek. I'll console.log teacher. Okay. I'm quickly, going through the concept, but be assured that I'll create a pre-class video for all of you where I teach you all of these in very, very good detail. Okay. But this should be enough for you to solve today's assignment. That's why I'm going through these. And Soumya, please see if you can make a note of it that, template string is supposed to be taught in Web 101 and JS 101. Okay. So please make a note of it for sure and communicate it with the respective people. Okay, Soumya? Okay. So yeah, because we won't be able to cover the JS201 syllabus if I teach, unit 1 and 2. Right? So no, I know, Abhishek, students are not lying, but maybe it was missed in the curriculum. No? We need to communicate it. So don't think that I am blaming you, Abhishek. Okay, got it? Chalo. Chalo. So there is a function, there is a variable called teacher. And then let a be a number, maybe. Let a is equal to 5 or 39, maybe. Okay. And let b is equal to another string called JavaScript. So what template string lets us do is it helps us write JavaScript expression inside of the string. So for example, inside of this template string, I am also getting hungry, but please focus, until we have the class time of 11:30 to 2, please मेरे को खाने की याद मत दिलाओ, okay? Please focus on the class. Huh? Don't distract me. If there will be too many distracting messages in the chat, I'll stop looking into the chat, right? Because it will start distracting me a lot. So only write relevant and important things in the chat. Okay. Don't write anything useless. So let teacher is Vivek. So if we have a template string, friends, we can write any JavaScript expression here. For example, we saw that 2 plus 6 is a JavaScript expression. We can write 2 plus 6 here. Okay. But will it work? Let's see what it returns. It returned a string called Vivek 2 plus 6. In order to make 2 plus 6 evaluate the expression, just the way it is evaluating here, we need a special syntax. And that special syntax is a $sign and opening and closing bracket. Now, if I run it, you will see Vivek 8 here. Why? Because this expression was evaluated and then added to this entire string. Is it clear until here? Now, I told you that Invoking a function is also an expression. Can I do something like this inside of this? Add. Isn't it powerful? 3 with 6. Did it work? It worked. So basically you can, this is called interpolate. So you can interpolate any value to strings, right? It can be any JavaScript expression that will be evaluated. Do you want me to run any other evaluation? So for example, if I copy this and I pass it here, not pass it, if I write it here, what would be the answer? Vivek greater, right? So this is evaluated first and then interpolated with rest of the string. So here you can think that this entire thing is a string, but inside that we have a small island for JavaScript. That is how I like to see it. So in the string island, we have a JavaScript island. Are you getting what it is? A bit clear so far? Okay. So now friends, let's do a small practice, only then it will be 100% clear to you. If I keep teaching it now, it won't be clear to all of you. And I want it to be very clear to all of you. So if I go to code pen, I'll create a new pen. Okay, if time is too uncomfortable for you, you may please reach out to your experienced champion, right? Template, string, simple, problem 1. And so we have, let age is equal to 39. Let favorite subject is JavaScript. And let teacher name. I want everyone to participate, friends. Everyone, each and every one of you. Okay. Only then it will be clear to you. Just by listening to me, it will never be clear to you. So what is expected? The expected output is, you have to read the problem statement all by yourself. Vivek's age is 39. Okay, let it be. Okay, Vivek's age is 39. His favorite subject is JavaScript. JavaScript. Okay, so be aware of these full stops. So this Vivek should come from this variable teacher name. This 39 should come from this variable age. This JavaScript should come from favorite subject. So if I change something here, so this should also change. And you only have to touch this bit of code. Okay, so I'll just save it. Is the problem statement clear to all of you, friends? Is the problem statement clear to all of you? Let me share it with you. Wow, some of you have already done it. Awesome. Okay, try to solve it, everyone. All 417 of you, I want you to solve it, please. Very important. Very important. Once you are done, you may either share your code or code pen in the chat. Please, everyone try it. Even if it looks simple, try to execute the code and see if it works. For people who have already done it, make it a little more complicated, okay? For people who have already done it, you may add another statement here. Next year, he will be 40 years old, okay? So this way you can, for those who have already solved this much, it is optional. You can also, add this line to your solution. Come on, everyone. I cannot give you more than 2 minutes for it. No, Khushbu, you're not allowed to do that. You have to use template strings. Comma नहीं कर सकते आप. Not allowed. You have to use template strings and interpolation. Things that are uncomfortable, you should be spending more time with them. Come on, everyone, be quick. Just 2 more minutes. I see a lot of solutions coming, a lot of revised solution coming. Very good. Fantastic, friends. Fantastic. Very good. Awesome. Are you feeling confident about after solving this small problem? Feeling confident about template strings after solving this problem? Chalo. Last 10 seconds. Stop typing after the 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wow. This is the exact, kind of participation I'm looking for. Very proud of all of you. Super. Okay, now I'll solve the problem for some of you who were not able to solve it. Okay, and then I'll take questions for a minute and then we'll move ahead. So friends, first is this is a JavaScript. This is a string island. Okay. Here I need some JavaScript expression to write to get this teacher name. Then teacher name is going to be, I just copy paste it. So I'll get Vivek here. Then Vivek's age is then another JavaScript thingy, age. You can see as I'm typing, I can see answer here, right? So Vivek's age is 39. Until here it's clear. Then I need a full stop. His favorite subject is, again, I need some JavaScript expression. For that, I'll use dollar and curly brackets, and it's going to be fav subject. Then again, a full stop. Next year, he will be age plus 1 years old. Can you see the solution? Can you see the solution now? Sakshi, this will make your life very much easier once we'll start working with DOM. Till now, you have worked with DOM this way, right? Document dot create element, right? And then document dot add classes. But when you will look at much more easier and modern ways of creating DOM, in that this is used a lot. If you'll work with React or any framework, template strings are used a lot. So we cannot ignore it. We have to get comfortable with it. Okay. you have to be, yeah, so it's dollar and curly brackets, dollar and curly brackets. Nice and easy. Let's move ahead. Okay. You need a solution from me? Okay, I'll share the solution as well. So I'll just save it. Maybe I'll just save it. And now this particular file has solution, okay, for people who need it. Okay. Um, Chalo, let's move ahead, friends. Let's move ahead. So for example, here, uh, I want to demo you a really important thing. So let's try to solve this, okay? Will Smith's age is, how many of you think our test will pass? Our second test will pass? Let's see. Let's see. I don't think it will pass, and let's see how and why. Okay. Now, if I save it, friends, so you will see that test automatically ran, and we can see that our answer is still not correct. And if you scroll down a little bit, it is saying the answer was expected to be this, but the answer received was this. Can you spot the difference? What jest test is trying to tell us? What what did we miss here? What did we miss here? We missed the full stop here, right? So if I put the full stop here, do you think this is very useful? The way it gives us, what was expected and what is received. Do you think it's very useful? And now you'll see that our two tests have passed. Awesome, isn't it? So in this way, your assignment is to solve, is at least to try your best effort in solving these 5 problems. One is already solved for you. Another one I have solved. Now it's your duty to solve rest of them. Is it clear? So once you have solved it, okay, once you have solved it, you can stop the test using Control C, Control plus C. So your test will stop. And now what you can do is you can do git add whatever, then git commit. And then get push you can push the code. And now if I go to my Git repository, what is that? Git Masai codes. What is it? Is it Masai codes? So if I go to Masai codes and no, I don't think it's Masai codes. Which repository is it? Can someone quickly help me? Which is Masai codes? Masai codes. It's Masai codes. And once I go to Masai codes, I should be able to see this 1 minute ago, I solved this problem, right? So I again go to the root directory of today's problem. So again, I see a package JSON here. That means it is the root directory. So I'll just copy it. And then I'll go to the problem. I'll go to the problem. And I'll paste the GitHub URL here, and then I'll click submit. And the best part of it is that it will keep a track of all the submissions. Okay, so it will keep a track of all the submissions, and you will be able to see your scores. Once the evaluation has completed. Okay, so you will be able to see your scores here once the right now it's evaluating. So once the evaluation has completed, you will be able to see your scores. Okay, so this is how you complete your assignments. So yeah, so you have to download it, solve it, upload it. Okay, so all the steps are here. So to be honest, I was not able to cover everything I planned for today, but I'm happy that we have covered a lot. So for tomorrow, one thing is please make sure that you are solving your assignment. Very important, first thing. And second thing is that make sure that you watch tomorrow's pre-class video. In case anyone is facing any difficulty in doing npm installation, in case anyone is facing any difficulty in doing npm installation, so you may take help of IAs. Okay, you may take help of Soumya. Reasons. One is if you check node version, node dash v, node dash v. So your version may be smaller than node 14. That can be one reason. Second reason can be there is no node installed in your machine at all. Okay, so in that case, just Google how to install node in your Windows machine. You'll be able to find a nice video and a way to do that. Third reason could be that you are not in the root directory. So if you check the present working directory, so you won't be here. So there can be three reasons of node to fail, npmi to fail. One, there is no node at all. So just Google, how to install node, how to install node in Windows. Okay, and you will be able to find a lot of tutorials. Okay, lots of videos as well. In case you have node, check node-v. Second thing. Third thing, in case you have node and it's greater than node 14, make sure you are in the root directory. Okay, जहाँ पे you can see where you can see this package.json directory. You will definitely be able to do that. Okay, so this is your, this is something that I have put in lots of effort in the notes in preparing for the class, right? Now this is the effort that you have to show, right? You have to complete the assignments. You have to complete the assignments, and you have to, watch the pre-class video. Okay, I'll let Soumya take over. Please make sure, I know all of you are very hungry. Please make sure to fill in the feedback form before leaving the meeting. Okay, I'll let Soumya take over.
Yes, yes, sir. So I have sent you the feedback form. Please fill everyone. And I have another.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Soumya. Please go
yes,
ahead.
sir. I have sent the feedback form, and I have another meet currently, so I have to leave. So I have sent.
Problem. No problem. Okay. Everyone, please open the feedback form and please make sure to fill it up right away. Okay. We will stop share and we will end the meeting for today. It was very nice to teach all of you. Thank you very much for your participation.